What's going on? Hey. This is the comeback episode of the Common Sense Show TV page right here on Anchor. What I am trying to do here, I was actually trying to record on my PC, but the website or that app in particular is down, so that's kind of cool. All right. But this is episode one. This is the rebrand. This is the rebirth of the Common Sense Show TV. Episode one. I'm going to start numbering them, and today is number one. I want to come on and to let you guys know, welcome back, or welcome. I am here for the first time in a while. I think the last anchor I've done was back in August of last year. So no more of that. The consistency is going to come starting today. And so just want to let you guys know that. Also, there's a reason why you're listening to this podcast, right? And you're probably thinking to yourself, the Common Sense Show, what? And if you guys search the internet, there is another Common Sense Show TV website, another active group, and that particular group is a political podcast. I think I listened to them a couple of times, but it's a political podcast. The guy's name is David, I think. I'm not really sure, but so I had to separate myself from them because I was getting inboxes or I was getting emails on my website, thinking that I was him. And I'm like, no, that's another guy. That's not me. So I want to make sure that if you're doing any searches for the Common Sense Show TV, or at least me, you have to put on, or I have to put in the search page, PAGE page at the end of that in order to get me. If you're on Facebook, it's going to be facebook.com/ the Common Sense Show TV page. If you do a search on podcasts, it'll be iTunes, Castbox, Radio Public, any of those Android podcasts. It's going to be actually on the podcast. It's going to be TV. You actually reach me. You'll see my little logo in the corner, and you'll know that it's me. So, guys, welcome to the Common Sense Show TV podcast. I thank you for joining me on this anchor. Man, it's been a while. Another reason why I'm back, you guys, is because it's very important that I tell my story and I tell it correctly, right? And so this is the reason why we're here. So this is episode one. I'm going to tell you exactly why you're here in the Common Sense Show. I'm going to tell you why I decided to do the Common Sense Show. It was because, and so that way we're going to get a full understanding and all of that. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. Okay. So the beginning of the Common Sense Show starts like this. A couple of years ago, I was totally in disarray with my life. Totally emotional. I was in everything. I had lost everything I had. You know, I was living in a cardboard box. I had life really, really rough. And because I didn't use enough common sense to know that I was messing up my life. I didn't know that. So that's when the Common Sense Show kind of popped into my head, but it didn't go into play, right? So I was going to write a book, and the book was going to be named The Knucklehead Chronicles. I didn't write that book. I wish I would have. I think I still might. I'll write that book, The Knucklehead Chronicles, and in that book, it details my life and what I've gone through, the people that I've hurt, the people that I've cheated on, manipulated, lied to, telling my story. Because what we have to do and understand is that at some point in your life you're gonna have to do a little bit of work, right? If you want to get to the next level in your life, you guys, if you follow me on Facebook, you have to do. I say it all the time. You have to do your work. A lot of times there are men that are still walking around here who are still trying to raise babies, trying to be a husband, trying to be a business partner, still mad at everybody else. There are so many people that are walking around and trying to live their best life in pain. What you're going to have to learn is this right here. You cannot, it is not feasible for you to live your best life pissed off and mad at the world. It's not going to happen. You may want it to. You may try to will yourself into a good life after being upset, but I can promise you this, it's a waste of time. You're going to be pissed. Let it be. All right? Let it be. Do your work. Sometimes it's all about just sitting down and thinking about everybody that you come into interaction with over the course of your life and let them be the motivators. Let them be those driving. Let that be the driving force for you to want to do your work. If you are newly married, or if you have a girlfriend, relationship, boyfriend, whatever, before you step yourself into that situation with that other person, make sure that you, ma'am or sir, is have done your work. Because if you have not done your work, you're going to destroy the other person. All right, so let's stop doing that. So again, those of you who are watching me, listening to me, I think I'm doing a video. Actually, listening to me. My name is Terry Little. Now I broadcast from Southern Idaho, Twin Falls to be exact. I am a 43-year-old African American from North Carolina, who I here in Potato Country, trying to give folks some common sense advice and make sure that they use the common sense that God gave them. So, long intro. But anyway, still got to do it. Anyhow, the reason why the Common Sense Show TV is here is because I had to go and do my work. You know how many people, if I told you how many people I lied to over my life, if I told you how many people that I've cheated on and manipulated and took their money and ran, and how many folks, I just done crazy stuff to, because I thought I was going to get by. I thought I was going to make it. I thought that I can live that crazy lifestyle and get away with it. You ever heard that old saying, karma's a bitch? Real talk. She is a bitch. She's about 355 pounds with one tooth. I promise you, she is out there. And if you ain't ready, she will consume you. I promise you. And so for me, that's what happened. I did all this stuff. I was married twice by the age of 25. And it was, a mess because I didn't want to do my work. It only took me to lose absolutely everything from A to Z to realize I had to do my work. And so I could stop hurting other people. You know how that is? That's hard. That's hard. Because we're used to doing things our way for the longest time. And as long as we're doing what we want to do in our time, then we don't have anything else to worry about. We don't have to worry about doing anything else for anyone. Until karma says, come on and talk to me. We need to have a conversation. And so as soon as karma hit, you can't take karma back and say, no, can we talk later? No. Karma comes, and when you see her coming, just go on ahead and drop it down, and go through your moment. We as people need to learn how to use a little bit more common sense when we are dealing with stuff. I know using common sense is kind of it's all good in theory and in the concepts, but but those of you guys who are listening, you guys know that common sense ain't always common, right? And so some of us use common sense more than others, and so the ones that use common sense look at the people that don't and say, "Man, come on now, you knew better." I've done it 1,000 times. Looked at somebody and said, "What were you thinking? Like, what were you thinking? Why would you do such a thing? Like, why would you cheat on her? You got this beautiful woman. Why would you cheat on him? You got this handsome dude do everything for you. What are you thinking?" You can't be the voice of reason if you're still doing dirt yourself. If you're still hurting other folks, still lying yourself. And that too, also being completely and utterly miserable in my life. I was so down in the dumps. You know how many times I contemplated suicide? Even, suicide is the easy way out. You guys know that, right? So suicide is the easy way out. But at the same time, it doesn't stop the thought from creeping into your brain. Because you've gone through so much, and it's like, I just don't want to do it no more. And for me, that's where I was. I was so emotional. I was so done. I was so hurt. I was so mad at people. And I was just like, you know what? I'll be better off if I just die. I'll be better off if I just commit suicide and be done with it. But I was like, no, I got two daughters who are my biological daughters. They're 25 and 22, Taniqua and Brianna. They are my lifeblood. And I also have a brand new son who's not brand new, but he'll be 2 in March. I raised 2, Javante and Zariah, who are the lights of my life. They get on my nerves, Lord Jesus, they get on my nerves, but um, no one else can love them can love them more than I do. And then if you hear TJ in the background, that's him. What's wrong? Is it off? Okay, hold on. All right, you guys. I'm sorry. Another pause. Hopefully, I can go. Hopefully, I can go in here and edit this. That way, there won't be any pauses. I forgot where I was. I hate when I pause, so I forget where I was. So yeah, tell me about my kids. Raya, Javante, Hataniqua, and Brianna, and I have little TJ, who will be almost 2 years old, or will be 2 years old in March. They're my life. Now I'm thinking to myself every day. I go, what if I had committed that suicide? What if I had took those pills? What if I had jumped off that bridge? What if? You know, I wouldn't be the man that I am, of course, 'cause I wouldn't be here. My babies wouldn't be here. I mean, they would be here, but they'll have to go through the emotional turmoil of being like their dad. I mean, so understand that. Like suicide is serious. Depression is a serious thing. And if we're not careful, we can definitely succumb to that, and it will take everything from us. So be mindful. So emotionally, I was jacked, but I was still trying to give advice. I was still trying to help somebody else, and it's good to do that, I guess. Unless you're leading them down the wrong path, and we definitely shouldn't be doing that. But I had to do my work. I had to go in and I had to forgive people that I hurt. I had to go and ask for forgiveness for the people that I've hurt, and lied to and manipulated and wasted time. And it's absolutely it took me a minute. It really took me a minute to get there, and it only took my relationship that I'm in now of 3 years. Well, it'd be 3 years that we've been together. 8 years totally. If we was together from the time we met, it would have been 8 years. But 3 years together. I chased her for 5 years, and she's the love of my life. Melissa, she's the love of my life. Understand that. Don't ever get that twisted. She's the love of my life, and she's been there for me and been ride or die for me since day one, and has never faltered. Even in our relationship, I was still doing knucklehead stuff, and I got caught up a few times. So I'm extremely lucky to still be in this woman's life. Now, that being said, July 21st, 2019, we are going to tie the knot. I'm going to make her an honest woman. I'm going to make her an honest woman. She's going to make me the happiest man on the planet by marrying me, and I surely appreciate her. So no one can say to me that you can't go from broke and homeless, hurting and emotional, to being the happiest you can be, because you absolutely can, but you have to do your work. You have to go and you have to fight. You have to find out what it is that caused you to be here in the first place. A lot of times, what we don't understand is, and this is what we do. We do all this as people, is that we will sit here and blame other people for our mess. One of the things that I always used to say, I still say them, but one of the things I used to say is if you look around and you find out that you are the common denominator to all of your issues, if every issue in your life revolves around you being the common denominator, you may want to stop and take a look and realize that, hey, it might be me. It might be me. It's not just me. It's me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, we have to understand that. And so that's what I had to do. I had to go and I had to say, okay, excuse me. I had to say, man, this is me. The lying, me. The cheating was me. Now, as men, and those of you guys who are listening to this, excuse me, as men, The first thing that we'll say is, she made me cheat. She made me cheat. She made me go out here and do some stuff that I had no business. Had she done this, I would have stayed in the house. Had she done this or said this, I would stay in the house. Let me be clear to all the ladies listening. It's a lie. Men cheat because we want to, and we want to see how far we can go. So let's be clear there. Men, fellas, not. I'm still on your side. I'm still on your side, fellas. But let's be clear. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's tell the truth around here and shame the devil. We as men, we cheat because we want to. It ain't because you didn't cook, you didn't fry the chicken right. It wasn't because you didn't sex us right. No, we cheat because we want to. We cheat because because men are vultures. We're vultures. We can't help it. One of the things that we'll do is we're gonna scan around and see who I can manipulate real quick and see who I can jump on. Huh? Let's be truthful about that. All right. But that's the reason why the Common Sense Show is here, you guys. The Common Sense Show is here to help and aid men and women to use more common sense. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to tap into your common sense, right? When you're dealing with people that you know is funky, if somebody come up to you and they ask you something crazy, or they want to be your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you feel some kind of stanky in your flesh, if it don't sit right with you, please understand that's your common sense saying, hey, come and see about me. Hey, don't do it. That's your common sense, right? That's what we have to tap into. A lot of people are not tapping into their common sense, and they're getting hurt. They're getting completely and utterly destroyed because we don't use our common sense. There are people that are hurting right now, and it's no judgment, but there are people that are hurting right now because of something that they did. But we're going to blame everybody else and stay hurt. That's on you. That's a choice. Understand this. Everything in your life is choice. Everything in your life is choice. If you choose to live that hurt lifestyle, guess what? You're going to be hurt. If you choose to be happy, guess what? You're going to be happy. You're going to be like Lil Duval and his song last year. And he said he's living his best life. He ain't going back and forth with y'all. He ain't going back, and you shouldn't either. It's a choice. I always say, you teach people how to treat you. You teach people how to treat you. And as long as you allow them to treat you like crap, guess what? You know, the old saying goes, if you give an inch, take a mile. Some folks turn a anthill into a mole to an anthill, or however that goes, or anthill to a mountain, or whatever. If you give folks leeway in your life, and if you don't check these people, it'll get worse and worse and worse and worse. And then you're looking around. Before you know it, you're looking around going, how did they get here? How did they get to invade this much space? How are they renting space in my head? Because you allowed them to. Because you allowed them to. Stop doing that. All right? But this is the reason why Common Sense Show is here. This is episode 1 of the Common Sense Show. Everybody who is listening, I surely appreciate you. I really, really do. If you want to support this broadcast, that support option is there for you. If you want to leave me a message, that option is there for you too. Just make sure you download the Anchor.fm app on your phone and be able to send me messages and all that. If that's anything that I can answer, any questions, you want to be on the show, you want to be a guest, anything like that, please let me know. I can get you on the show as quickly as possible so we can have a chit chat. So I'm going to end my social media day by saying this. You guys, you know what? Thank you for joining me again. I love each and every one of you. Common sense, you guys, is like deodorant. The ones that should use it don't. All right? But don't let it be a superpower. Common sense everybody should have it. Everybody should have it. Everybody should use it. So if you haven't tapped into your common sense, let's do this together. Let's journey this common sense victory together. And until next time, remember that common sense ain't always common. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.